Hey everyone, and welcome to Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. My name is Jessica Fuentes, and I am a certified professional coach. I will be here every Saturday talking about transformation. How to transform those difficulties you encounter throughout your life into lessons. How can you transform that victim mindset into one of opportunity and growth? If you want to transform your life, the key is to learn and realize that you have everything you need within yourself. If you are looking for a safe place to find inspiration, motivation, and the tools to become empowered, then this is the podcast to listen to. This podcast is brought to you by my website, Empowered-SelfLove.com. Thank you for joining me every Saturday. And I want to thank you all for listening every week. Thank you for your support and for making Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast, part of your Saturday routine. I am extremely thankful and grateful for your warm welcome. My hope is to bring you the tools that enriches your life and that helps you become more empowered. So thank you for sharing with your friends and family, and let's continue to spread the knowledge and the inspiration. Hey there, and welcome. Happy Saturday. Thank you again for joining me today on another episode of Empowered by Self-Love, the podcast. I wish for all of you to feel well, energetic, and ready for today's topic. Today, I wanted to talk about happiness. Because isn't that what we all are in pursuit of? I don't know about you, but most of my life I've been in pursuit of happiness. The problem is that I used to believe that my happiness was dependable on others. And as a result, I made it my goal to find someone to be part of my life so that I could feel complete. Now, when I go back and think about that ideology, I say, wow. Aside of the fact that that ideology is completely wrong, I also allowed others to control my happiness. As a result, and obviously, I led a life in which I felt empty because I always needed someone's love, someone's approval, someone's acceptance, or someone's attention to fill in my emptiness. Ironically, as a result, even when I had someone in my life, I was still not happy. And I couldn't understand why. So after many failures and after a lot of self-discovery, because I also went through this journey of self-discovery, self-healing, and self-transformation, I now understand that happiness is a decision. It is true that someone else can make you feel miserable. It is true that somebody else can make you feel sad, but you are still responsible for your own happiness because you decide whether or not someone else's behavior affects you. You decide whether or not you want to react to someone else's lack of capacity to love you. You get to decide whether or not you want to suffer or when you will stop suffering. When you understand that you're the one in control, you have the power. You have the power to decide anything you wish to, especially your own happiness. But with all the transformation process that I have been talking about since my very first episode, this is something that requires you to continuously work on yourself. Because the fact that you decide to be happy doesn't mean that you will never feel sad. Because no emotion remains constant. You have the right to experience any emotion, and you will experience multiple emotions. You are allowed to feel sad. You are allowed to feel stressed, worried, feel mad, even anxious. Those are emotions that will flow.
And I like to make a differentiation between how I define emotions and how I define feelings. A lot of people kind of mix them up, but I like to highlight a difference between them. Emotions flow, like I just said, because they change. Now, I like to define the word feelings as an unchangeable and a constant way to feel. Now, in comparison, you cannot constantly feel sad or mad because those are emotions. They are not feelings. Now, for example, when you truly love someone, you will not stop loving that person. The love can change. Your desire towards that person can change. Even your interest towards that person. And when a person disappoints you, it really hurts. And guess why it hurts? Because you truly loved that person. And you might not accept the behavior of that person, but you can never really wish them bad or harm because your feelings for that person were truthful. Now I'm gonna give you an easier example as to how to relate the feeling of love that remains constant. That one, you can relate it to your children if you have children. If you don't, maybe you have a niece, a nephew. What do you feel for them? You simply love them. It doesn't matter what they do. You will always love them. That love will remain constant. So that's when the definition of a feeling comes into play. You can get mad. You might not agree with everything they do or what they say, but you will always worry about their well-being. You can feel angry with them, but you will still love them, regardless. Now, when it comes to your happiness, why not apply the same concept? You can choose happiness as your constant feeling and not allow it to be determined by other people. Your happiness is something you decide to feel, to have, to carry with you. And once I realized that happiness was actually in my hands, I decided I was going to be happy. And I am. Even though I've had many difficulties and I have had to experience lots of deceptions, lots of stress, a lot of loss as well, a lot of uncertainty. And I was still happy within myself because happiness is defined as a state of well-being and contentment. It is characterized by feelings of joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment. Because happiness is a form of satisfaction regardless of the external situations. It is being content with my life, with my past, with my decisions, with my progress, with my capacity to forgive, and my handling of any situation. I am content with who I am, and it doesn't require someone to join me for me to feel complete. I am complete, and so are you. You have this power as well. It doesn't require you to go somewhere else to feel happy. You carry the happiness within yourself. It is a magical sensation to feel happy. It removes the responsibility on someone else's shoulders. I remember that I once heard Will Smith said something along the lines that he was not responsible for his wife's happiness. I know that Will Smith is not the best example these days. However, what he said at the time took me off guard, and I initially thought to myself, what? How can he say that? But when he finished, everything made more sense to me. So I'm going to quote him here. He said, you cannot make a person happy. You can make a person smile. You can make a person feel good. You can make a person laugh. But whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. That is so true because it is not fair to put your happiness in someone else's hands. It is not anybody's job to make you happy. You are the only one who truly knows you. You are the only one who feels the emotions the way you feel them. Why would you want someone else to carry that responsibility? And the same applies the other way around. You are not responsible for someone else's happiness. Now, that doesn't mean that because you're not responsible for someone else's happiness, you're going to mistreat everybody now. No. Or you're going to stop caring about everybody. No, I'm not saying any of that. I just want to focus this episode on the fact that you are the one in control of your happiness. It is a decision. You can decide today that you are going to be happy. You make the decision because you have everything you need to be happy. Everything is within yourself. Your house cannot make you happy. Your crappy car is not an excuse for you to not be happy. Neither it is your job or your boss or your debts or your income or even your illness. Those are situations that test you. But you can remain happy because you feel content with who you are. You feel content with your journey. If you have purpose in your life, I can guarantee you will feel happy because you're such an amazing human being that you deserve to be happy. Period. And once you get accustomed into believing that you are deserving of happiness, you will notice that even if you're sad, you can still feel content with who you are. Even if you're not having the best day at work, you can still be content with your professional growth. If somebody else disappoints you, you can still be content with what you are able to give to others, regardless of the way they treat you or what they give back to you. I'm going to quote Dennis Whiteley. He said, "Happiness cannot be traveled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude." So my message here today is, do not put the responsibility of your happiness upon someone else's shoulders. This is your life and you are in the driver's seat. So choose happiness. Now, I made a research and scientifically there are several ways to boost your happiness. So I'm going to mention you 7, and these are taken from 3 different articles written by Forbes Health, CNET, and Greater Good Science Center. Number 1, enhance social connections, because building and maintaining strong relationships with family, friends, and your community, that increases your levels of happiness. But again, you are in control of who you choose to interact and socialize with. Pay attention to the people you interact with. Number 2, practice gratitude. Expressing gratitude regularly can help you improve your mood and your overall well-being. I used to keep a gratitude journal, and that helped me a lot. And I also did gratitude months with friends of mine, and it was amazing how the mentality for all of us involved changed, because it became a challenge to find something new to be grateful for. And it becomes a challenge because we are accustomed to saying, yes, I'm grateful because of my family, because of my children, because of my house, because I have food in the refrigerator. And the trick in the exercise I used to do is that you cannot repeat anything that you have said before. So when you start running out of options, then your mind is gonna start looking all the time for things to be grateful for. So that exercise, that practice of gratitude is amazing. It really helped me through very difficult times, and it helped me focus and look for great things and good things and blessings rather than focusing on the bad things that were going on in my life. Okay, number 3, engage yourself in acts of kindness. Doing good things to help other people actually improves your happiness. It's ironic that when you give to others, you are the one who feel the happiest. But think about it. When you receive something from somebody else, you feel grateful. Yes, thank you. But when you give is when you really feel happy. So engaging in this act is a good way to focus your mentality and increase your levels of happiness. Number 4, exercise regularly. Physical activity is known to release endorphins, which are natural mood filters. So go out for a walk, get on a treadmill, get on the elliptical, do something, work out, stretch, do yoga. There's so many ways to exercise that you don't have to kill yourself working out, and they make you feel such a relief. I don't know, it releases all of the bad stuff. And yes, you might be tired, yes, you might be sweaty and stinky and disgusting. But when you calm down, you feel kind of energized and released. It's like you leave behind all the concerns, all of the stress. You leave it during the workout. Number 5, practice mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness is, forcing yourself to feel present. That's why meditation is also important here, because it helps you reduce stress and the feelings of happiness and contentment are increased. Number 6, getting enough sleep. I have to say that I am guilty of lack of sleep. I barely sleep. I get to sleep like 6 hours a day, which is still not that bad, but the recommended amount of time is 7 to 9 hours per night. Number 7, pursue meaningful activities. So when you engage in activities that are meaningful to you, I don't know, a hobby, volunteering, learning something new, that enhances your purpose and therefore your happiness. So the decision to be happy is not just a decision. It requires work, effort, consistency. Now, I'm gonna close with the 5 takeaways. Number 1, again, happiness is a decision. You are responsible for your own happiness. It's a conscious choice to make, and it's independent from other people's behaviors or whatever circumstances you might be facing. Number 2, control over emotions. While you cannot control the actions of others, you can certainly control your reactions to them. So your happiness should not be dependent on external validation or approval. Number 3, always keep in mind the difference between feelings and emotions. Feelings like love can be constant, while emotions such as sadness, anger, are temporary and changeable. So recognizing this can help you maintain a steady sense of contentment and happiness. Number 4, self-completeness. True happiness comes from within and does not require anybody to complete you. Being content with who you are and acknowledging your progress contributes significantly to lasting happiness. Number 5, boundaries and respect. Valuing your happiness doesn't mean you're going to tolerate disrespect from anybody, and it also doesn't mean that you are now allowed to disrespect others. It's important to set boundaries and only accept and give what contributes positively to your life and to the life of others. So as I wrap up today's episode, I hope you feel empowered to take control of your own happiness. And remember, happiness is not just a fleeting emotion. It is a decision and a journey that starts with you. Despite the challenges life may throw your way, choosing happiness is about embracing self-completeness and setting boundaries that protect your inner peace and your joy. It's about acknowledging that while others can impact how you feel momentarily, remember that it's temporarily. Your deep-rooted contentment starts from within. So take the wheel and choose happiness every single day, living with love, grace, and gratitude.
If you feel that this is a message you connected with, I am very glad and happy that this will be the beginning of an extraordinary journey of transformation and empowerment for you. So remember that we have a date every Saturday. You can't miss the next episode in which I will be talking about
moving on.
Thank you for listening to today's episode, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that it brought some perspective as well as hope. If there is any particular topic you would like me to discuss, or if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email at jessica.fuentes@empowered-selflove.com. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me there as Empowered-selflove. I also encourage you to visit my webpage, Empowered-selflove.com, and explore more about what coaching is all about. In the Services tab, you can sign in for the free discovery session, which is only available on Wednesdays. During the discovery session, I will explain everything you need to know about coaching, the type of coaching I specialize in, and the packages I have available for you. You can find all the links on the episode's notes. Remember, if you like this content or thought of somebody that could benefit from it, please share it with your friends and family. Remember that we have a date every Saturday, and I can't wait for us to meet again. See you next week!